everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing really well. This video this week is going to be a little bit different, so I kind of just wanted to make it a bit more personal, a little less prescribed, so there's no listing, there's no talking about my favourite books or my least favourite books, or answering any questions. I kind of just wanted to talk about why I write and what it is that got me into writing. So I've had lots of conversations with pretty much anyone and everyone about writing, especially since publishing number 47 in July. One of the main questions I think that most writers get is why? Why do you write? So I thought it'd be quite interesting to chat about that. It's quite a hard one to explain, to be completely honest. I think it's similar to any creative hobby. Why do you paint? Why do you sing? Why do you do anything really? Or even sports, like why do you play football? Why do you play netball? I play netball too, love netball. It's just one of those things, isn't it? Like, I write because I feel compelled to write, because I feel like it opens up a side of my personality that I don't necessarily let people see on the day-to-day. I think one thing that I've learned quite recently, is that actually vulnerability that everyone holds inside them is a strength. And I think when I write, I'm opening up a vulnerable piece of my personality. It's something that I don't show everyone in the day-to-day. Not everyone is privileged enough to see it, I guess. So when I write, I'm opening that up and I'm extending that part of my personality, and I want to share it with people, and that's the best way I know how. Like a lot of writers, I think I feel much more confident writing things down than speaking about them. So I mean, I've only done a handful of videos and I've already learned that scripting them is just absolutely not the way to go for me. I've scripted a couple of them, and then when I watch them back, I think I feel really awkward. So yeah, just letting the words kind of flow on their own, even if they come out a bit awkward, at least, you know, that's authentic. So that's me. Yeah, but writing is just the most confident way that I think I can communicate with people. And I think a lot of writers feel quite similarly. I first got into writing in 2015. So my cousin Sean, who I mentioned in a previous video, I'll link his stuff below because he's an awesome writer. He commented, I think he recommended a competition to me. So Inkit, quite an old site, I'm sure it still does stuff, but I'm not up to date with it. We're running a short story competition, and it was all based around a new world. So it was meant to be inspired by sci-fi and Terry Pratchett. And I love Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman, so it made total sense to just give it a go, really. And I did it mostly just to see if I could do it. I mean, I didn't really even feel compelled to at that point. I had an idea for a story. It's a bit of a weird one, to be totally honest. I'll link it down below if you want to read it, but it's pretty bizarre. It's essentially the story of a planet that eats the people on it when they become too old. So essentially when they've outgrown their worth, they are consumed by the planet in order for the planet to continue sustaining life for future generations. It sounds a lot deeper when I say it like that, but it's really, really not. Anyway, so I wrote this story just to kind of have a punt at it, really, and just to see what would come of it, and I won the competition. I won the competition, and I feel like I wasn't at the right stage of my life to win it. So the prize was to have your story published, only my short story wasn't really long enough to have published. It would have been like a little leaflet if it had been published. So Inkit asked if I would continue writing it, which at the time I was in my second year of university, so I was pretty snowed under, and I was also working 2 jobs, so I just didn't have the time. And I kind of let it fall by the wayside, and that's kind of where the writing stopped for quite a while. And I didn't really feel compelled to write, so I didn't. And then a couple of years later, I had an idea for number 47, and that's pretty much where I've been ever since. So I had that idea, and then I just felt compelled to get it on paper. It's like, even if only one person reads this, even if only my mum reads this and at least pretends to enjoy it, then I will have succeeded. Yeah, so to have gone from that tiny idea to actually finishing a product, I just don't think there's anything really more magical than that. As I say, I think it's the same as any other hobby, really. You feel compelled to do it. You do it because you enjoy it, not because, you know, there's any like material gain from doing it. I've also, I've got a couple of books down here actually. So the books I think that lent me to get into writing, got a couple that I can name off the top of my head that I think had a real impact on my writing and really made me think that yeah, I can give this a go, I can do this. The first one is The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. If you've not read this, then, you know, get on with it. It's amazing. TV show's amazing. Obviously the sequel is out now, so that's definitely on my to-read list. Need to get on with that. It has such a profound impact, I think, on pretty much anyone that reads it. You need to read it. And the idea of being able to write something in first person that had that much of an impact on someone reading it, I think that's so powerful, and that definitely kind of pushed me to have a go at it myself. The other book that I read not too long ago that I think has really changed the way I write, or kind of pushed me to write more, is Kate Hamer's The Doll Funeral. I don't think Kate Hamer is anywhere near as famous as she ought to be, because her writing style is beautiful. It's so poetic. It wasn't even the storyline that got me in this thing. It's literally the way it's written, and it made me reassess how I write. I think I really focus on detail. I think I have a habit, even in the day-to-day actually, I notice that I do it. I hone in on like tiny details, and then try to like bring up their importance in the narrative. So yeah, I think those two are probably the main books that have affected the way that I write, and how I write. Yeah, I just wanted to share something a little bit more honest, really. I write because I'm compelled to. I think you probably sing, or you play football, or you dance because you feel compelled to. I don't dance because I feel compelled not to. You don't want me to dance. So yeah, it was a bit of a weird video, maybe a bit of a short one. Just really wanted a really open and honest look into why it is I do what I do, without getting too philosophical, because it's too early in the day for that. I'd love to hear about your hobbies. Like, what do you do? What do you do that you are compelled to do? What do you do just for the pure love of doing it? Whether it's music or sport, or it doesn't even have to be creative. Do you love writing lists, or are you one of those amazing people that can keep a bullet journal? Because I love the look of those things, and I've never been able to get past January. Any tips on keeping those, let me know. As I say, anything I've mentioned in this video, I will link below. So check it all out. And yeah, I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye. Oh God, you can't say that. I will see you next week.